Alright, well, the junkyard did not have the transmission that I needed for this truck. So we have gone ahead and made the executive decision to rebuild the transmission that is in this bad girl. So we're going to go ahead, pour the transmission out of here. I did check it a few places around town. They have the rebuild kit for it, and the Overdrive, everything included in one. But if we're going to rebuild it, you know, might as well poke around, see what we can get to maybe do some upgrades to her too. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get this pulled out. We'll do a little time lapse of that, and I'll be back with you guys when we finally get the kit in.
So getting this transmission out wasn't too bad of a job by myself. I had to use an open-end wrench to get the drive shaft out here, but other than that, it was just rough concrete, and I was by myself. Was pretty much the biggest frustration. Once I got this thing out, I also realized that it was a little bit later model than I had originally thought. It's a year later than the vehicle, so I don't know if that's from the manufacturer or if that was, someone who changed the transmission earlier in its life. It definitely looked like it was 260,000 miles, the original miles, or close to it whenever I had taken it out and gotten, inside of this thing eventually and later in the video. But one thing I will say is just take your time, be careful. I used a ratchet strap to the lift I was using to make sure the transmission didn't go anywhere. You can see I had to use like 7 extensions here to get these top bolts out. Next time I would just go spend $20 and get a long one with a swivel on the end. But I mean, I was working with what I had. Anyways. If you guys are going to do this yourself, definitely have a friend come give you a hand. That would have been incredibly beneficial here.
Well, it's another day. I'm back. It's later in the day, but I'm back. Anyways, we got the transmission pulled out last night. I did quite a bit of research on this thing, and especially on YouTube. If you are rebuilding your transmission like this and you want to go into great detail, I recommend a YouTube channel called, I believe it was, Transmission Bench. So he has a great series on here where he goes through multiple different series of these transmissions. That's where I'm getting the knowledge for this. This video is entertainment. So if someone were to watch his content and then attempt to rebuild their own transmission, I believe this one is a 46RH, not RE. But we're going to identify that little number on the side before we get too much farther into it. But anyways, I would really recommend that you guys go to his video if you want to know how to professionally do this. This is me watching his content and then attempting to do it and seeing if his knowledge will portray into my ability. Anyways, I got the tools over here set aside that he said that I should need. So I got some snap rings, some pliers, some other little ratchets. I have my notes. All sorts of extra little crap that is kind of useless, to be honest with you, for you guys, but hopefully helpful to me. Anyways, we're going to go ahead, get our lights turned on, and we're going to dig into this thing. I'll come walk it out. I'm going to go, no, Luke, not that. Not this? No, use the socket. Oh, okay. Do, 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 do. Best friend is the cameraman. Do, do, do. So you don't want to bang on the housing or anything like that. You want to go between really this bolt right here and this point, and on each side, whoop, just like that, just back it off. Some may be a lot more stuck than mine. This one just wants to fall apart. All right. So I've had this pan off before. I already know what to expect on the other side. There's going to be plenty of metal shavings on the pan. But let's go ahead and crack her open. All right, first reveal. Ta-da! It looks like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree on that magnet right there. Look at that thing, man. Wow. Oh. Yeah, this transmission has seen some better days. You can see inside of here the filter. It's all metal shavings. I'm surprised this thing was even moving at this point. Well, let's go ahead and take the valve body out. All right, so we got our housing nice and loose. You're going to take a hammer and bonk right here, not on here, to help move this plastic and pop it out of the housing. right. And just like that, you have your main housing out of your transmission.
Oh my god. Buddy just shit himself.
Now that that's happened.
You're fucking hurting inside. Holy shit.
Is you're going to want to push on that pump by applying force right here in between these two, and that should there we go. Now you'll just take and slide this out. Now we're going to flip this over and we're going to make sure that this ring stayed with it. We're also going to look down deep inside. Boop! We're just going to firmly grasp onto this shaft. We're going to take out. There we go.
Y'all can probably tell by now I'm not very good at talking while I'm working, especially in real time with the video. So if you like this overlay, instead of me kind of saying 2 or 3 words and then skipping a sentence and picking it back up, let me know. I'll maybe try to talk over my videos a little bit more. But anyhow, this is kind of the most boring part, is taking it all apart. So stick with me here. I promise you it gets interesting. But anyhow, back to it.
That is not supposed to be coming out yet, but it is. Wear eye protection. And rotate that bad boy out. Make sure to keep the little plastic retainer right there, whatever, I don't know, washer with it. There we go. There we go. Our gasket even came off with it. Look at that. So we're going to pick this up, remove that, and if your gasket didn't come off, you're going to want to make sure to take it off. All right. And then you will have your cap, your spring, and then your return body down here. You want to make sure on the back that the O-ring comes with it. Anyhow, now we will take this out with our snap ring back on tap and set this aside. Take our C-clamp. Now we are going to slowly let this all the way out. There we go. Okay. And if this doesn't just pop out, what you want to do, just for safety, I'm going to put this bar right here. You just want to take and give it a little bonk. All right. You can see we got our retainer, our spring, and then the body down here. Ugh. All right. There we go. That just pops out nicely. This will be for our overdrive, and we have a completely separate one just for the main part of the transmission. Voila. First thing we will start to do is we will remove this little snap ring right here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull the first thick plate out here.
So you'll see as I'm taking this one out here that it's actually in pretty horrible shape. The one inside of the Overdrive and inside of it was in great shape. There was like nothing wrong with it, but every other one other than the one inside was collapsed.
Oh man, she's done for. Good night. Sleep tight. Oh, jeez, man. There we go. Lay this one down. What we're gonna do is take and spread that as far as we can. And while that is spread, we're going to take, there we go. Then we can release and pull our overdrive clutches out of our housing. There we go. All right, so now that we have everything mainly out of the transmission and we've made a mess here, you can see we got everything disassembled on the table. So there are still some things that I gotta take apart. So as far as in here goes, I gotta take some of the clutch packs apart. The pump I gotta take apart and replace some gaskets in there. We gotta take the valve body apart. We still gotta do nothing in the housing other than cleaning up, but we have to still take this apart, which you need a hydraulic press to apply some pressure up here. You don't really need one. You just need a big C-clamp. Anyways, we're gonna have to get one of those from Harbor Freight or somewhere tomorrow because I don't have one big enough to wrap all the way around that safely. So anyways, we are gonna do a little more research on this for parts. I'm going to get that big C-clamp and I will see you guys most likely tomorrow for disassembly. Whew, another beautiful day after a long week. I am so happy to be home. Look at that sky. Anyways, got the garage doors open here, nice breeze through the shop, and a great little place to work here today. So, I think I've already said this, but I am super happy that I have these here. These parts I've been waiting for about 2 or 3 days, and they showed up. I mean, it was very fast service. I'm very happy. Anyways, we're going to do an unboxing of this in a minute, but first, I did go ahead and get the overdrive housing nice and cleaned up here for us, best I could. Same thing with the main transmission housing, too. Inside and out. A lot shinier than I think it's been in the past, 15, 20 years. But anyways, before we start reassembling the transmission, we're gonna go ahead and take all of our old parts and get all the gunk and grease and crap off of them. You can use paint thinner, which is mineral spirits, or you can just get straight mineral spirits. I got 3 of them just because I'm gonna fill this little container up. That way I can soak everything, dip it, mix it around, try to get as much as I can out. And then once we disassemble everything, I'll probably give it one more just a little dip in there to get any debris or anything. I got some clamps because I do not have a press to be able to compress this spring right here. I don't have, just not really in the funds right now. We're working with what we got. So like I said earlier, this is not the exact way to do this, but this is how I am doing it. So it's entertainment. But anyways, let's go ahead and clean those and then we'll get into assembling the overdrive here. Oof, that took me a little bit of time. I got everything cleaned here for us. We're gonna go ahead and, since I got it laid out nicely, I can pull anything and we can go ahead and start reassembling some stuff. We are going to do the overdrive housing first, but to get the seal and some of the other stuff to begin this, we gotta go ahead and do our unboxing. So we're gonna see what everything looks like, what we got in our kit. This is the Supreme something Master Deluxe kit. It's the best one he has. I'm really excited to get it into it. So let's go ahead and open this up. Alrighty. We will go ahead and start with big box number 1. Oh, there goes a tool. Oh, it's like Christmas, but for an adult. Alright. So, first things first, we'll take out, we got some assembly glue. Not glue, goo. Assembly goo here. This is what the man recommended in the video for me to use. It's what he sent me over here for assembling everything. It's supposed to mix well into the transmission fluid as well. We got a filter that Do not think is the correct one. No, it's not the correct one. We got the old style with 3 holes instead of the 2 here. I'm sure he sent us one in here somewhere. I believe I remember him talking about that in the kit. We got a box that's empty with a bunch of stuff that's fallen out of the box. So we're gonna slide all that back in there. But that looks fairly important. I know that's for the overdrive for the rear. We'll need that shortly. And here we got some little stuff, sensors and all sorts of solenoid and a speed sensor. Awesome. So all our little electronics that probably attach to the main body of the valve train. And then, whatever it takes. There we go. This is probably our clutch packs and everything. Let me set this big box aside, AKA the trash box now. You guys get to see it first. Ta-da! Whatever, oh, well, and it's facing me, I guess. Whatever it takes. This appears to be all of our gaskets, seals, etc. You can see we got our clutch packs, our overdrive. I believe it's our overdrive clutch pack here. We'll set this aside. Then we got all of our steel rings here. And we got a little tongue torch candy as well. Cool. Go ahead and give it a little pop on camera. I love these red cinnamon things, man. And all of our metal disc for spacing everything out here. Awesome. I hope I got a sticker, man. Oh, I hope I got a sticker. Anyways, we'll open up the little express package next. All right, another one. Ha ha ha, I was right. This is the clampy clamp band situation for kicking it into a gear. I don't know which one. And this is our torque converter. Twerk. Hell yeah. This is our torque converter. Dynamic remanufacturing. They even got it all painted up for us. Look at that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and store this inside of the box here because it's going to be a minute before we get back to this. Anyways, but we got all sorts of snap rings, aka ring kit. Good to know we have that with us. Little gaskets, more little gaskets, a lot more gaskets, and a bunch of other gaskets. Another gasket. That looks like it's a seal. And yeah, not bad. Well, I guess we got some work to get to.
So at this point, we went ahead and got the overdrive prepped. There was really nothing interesting here, and there's a few other stuff I probably should have just skipped over in the video, to be honest with you. But I was trying to do this to someone who had either, is watching this for entertainment, has done it their whole lives, or is in the business, or is curious on how to do it, and if they can do it, and is watching my video to see if someone just sitting at home, some redneck in Florida, can take care of this in the backwoods. Some tools I have lying around in my big shop here. So of course I'm very thankful and lucky to have all this. I've worked hard for it, but it's one of those things where just happy to be able to take a challenge like this on and attempt it myself. A lot of times you got to pay and outsource for this sort of stuff, and yeah, I like to try to do stuff that most people give up on or say, nah, I don't even have the knowledge tools to do that. So it's kind of what this whole video is about.
Next, we have to take this apart, get the clutches inside, do a little bit more cleaning and all sorts of goodness. So this is where we're going to get a little bit redneck, to be honest with you. The best way to do this is with a shop press and drop this on right on down through the middle part, and it'll get a little compression action, and that's not how we're doing it. Ta-da! There we go. And we're going to take and there. Pop that out. Ta-da. Alright, so we got the big snap ring undone. You can see I got this little snap ring undone, but it's held on by the foot that's holding the pressure. So we're going to go ahead with this safe one. This is my little safety in case this one lets go. We're going to start to undo this one and then just kind of back off of both of them and see how far we get.
So no music for this cut. This is a little serious. I should not have done this. I should have just gotten a shot press and been safe about it. This is me being a little hard-headed here. Luckily I didn't get hurt or anything, but I mean, I should have just spent $250 at Harbor Freight, gotten a shot press, moved on to my life, had one for the future when I'm doing little jobs, pressing bearings, all sorts of stuff, because there's a few times it would have been useful for me already, and I know it will be useful in the future, especially for doing stuff like this. I should have bit the bullet. I will next time, but anyways, I did think of a pretty creative way to do this, as you'll see coming up, at least for putting it back together, because there was way too much spring tension in there. I don't know if I was able to get it loose because of how much, which, I mean, the clutch packs weren't even burnt up inside, so I'm not sure how I was able to get this loose without it blowing apart. But anyways, I'm very, very happy that it went the way that it did, and I am okay. Most of the time I am all down for doing things the cheap way or trying to find another way around a problem or a tool or making a tool or something of that nature, but this is just one of those times where the tool exists, do it the right way. It exists for a reason. So with that being said, please take my advice and enjoy the rest of the video. Just entertainment, not recommendations.
Just enough room with a 8-inch C-clamp from Rural King. Hell yeah, man. I love it when a plan comes together. So now we'll remove our little snap ring, put that down. We will take big snap ring, take our clutch pack. More like, well, these aren't too bad. I was going to say clutch clapped, but anyways, these look to be pretty healthy. Here, we'll take that apart. You can see that big spring is a little stuck in there. I'm going to take and give it a little beat down. There we go. See, we got our big spring in there. That's what's under a lot of tension here. There we go. Set that forward. Our planetary gear can come out, which is not held in by that. Now we're going to set that back up onto here, which sits down there. And I just reach in there with my hand and pull this bad John out. Take and set that back up there. And we got some bearings, a little situation going on. I'll slap that down the way it came out. Make sure none of those rollers are pitted. They all seem to be alright. And our bearing the way that it came out too. No problem. Well, we're going to clean these off and then we'll go ahead and reassemble everything. Alright. That's supposed to go, so we'll take her, slap it down in there. Now, slide this up off of here. Do it. Centered as we can get it. A little bit. Hell yeah. Assemble this bad John. There. Give her a little wipe around. Awesome. Spring and our little other situation. We're just going to take these and let them saturate all down in there.
So I kind of feel like I don't have to talk about it again, but I just want to say, whenever I compressed this, I mean, it was kind of safe. I didn't feel horribly uncomfortable doing it the way I'm going to do it here shortly. But just don't do this. Just don't do it the way that I'm going to do it. Get a shop press. Be smart. Use your brain. It's not the mystery machine up there, you know what I mean? It's the how to get it done correctly machine. So be safe, use eye protection, use gloves. I didn't want to spend $40 on nice mechanic gloves or 20 or whatever. You know, we're kind of living like Larry, but not after this video.
All right, so we're at the other end of the shop now because I have a completely different idea. I don't have a shop press. C-clamps are too dangerous. This is my, I guess, third rendition of thought. So let me show you. I got my floor jacks down here with a piece of steel that I actually just happened to have a hole in it already for like a trailer hitch, and that happened to work. I don't know if a trailer hitch would work, you know, into a receiver without the ball on it. Maybe you could fit that through and then use a floor jack, you know, to bounce this. But I took a 2.5-inch hole saw, cut the side of it out here onto a metal support on the back of this truck, and we're gonna see if this works. You know, talk about a homemade floor press. Here we go. There's some DIY right here. But let's get to it.
So despite all of my warnings saying not to do this because don't do this, it's very dangerous, it actually worked pretty well, especially in a pinch. But would I do it again? Probably not, especially if I had the money, you know. But, I mean, it worked, so I just wanted to share it. The hole saw did have to be 2.5 inches for the top for what I was doing there. And as far as the floor jacks go, it's really the only safe way to do it with 2 of them. I suppose you could get maybe like one of those transmission jacks and drill a hole in it, but that seems like a bigger waste of money than just getting the right jack to begin with, so.
I just got done repressing this. I took this one out, put this shaft back in it, adjusted it, put it back in, and now you can see it's seating all the way down. I just had to give it a little bonk with the soft mallet here. Now what we're gonna do, there we go. You can see that helped align everything, and now it just slides out and pops right back in. Awesome. Let's go ahead and install this in the housing for the Overdrive. Alright, so I am now hitting the snap ring here on the top, which we will put these in, spread it apart while pushing and twisting the housing back, and that should lock it in place. We'll see if that theory is accurate. Oh, yep, there we go. And then pull it back forward to lock that bad boy in place. Awesome. Alright, now I'm going to get our gasket real quick. And the cover and the 2 T25s, and we're going to slap that cover back on. You should be able now to take and rotate this freely. Beautiful. And we'll set our clutches down in the wetness. Take our first clutch pack, followed by another one, followed by a doink, followed by a zoink, followed by a boink, followed by a boink, and then a little moink. And to finish it all off, a little twink. Alright. Hopefully none of that was a racist slur in another language. I'm going to take our little ring, pop this bad John back into the little situation. And I've been told that is just to keep it from falling out whenever I stand it up to do something with installation. I don't know. Anyways, that's assembled, and I want a little snack, so I'll be back in a minute. Next day, I'm back. Alright, so right down here, we're going to go ahead and install the servos back into the main transmission body. I have the Overdrive sitting over there waiting for a reassembly back to this, but First, we got to get these put back in, and we got to put all the new seals, all sorts of situations on them. So we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll go ahead and continue on.
So there's been a few, like, gaskets, O-rings, clamps, stuff like that, retainers that I haven't shown that I have replaced. I've tried to catch everything, but for the most part, this is entertainment. I'd really recommend going to transmissionbench.com or on YouTube, which is where I watched the whole series for free and got the education to do this from Jimmy. That's the man I also got the rebuild kit from and a bunch of this information and knowledge from. I'd really recommend calling him for a lot of parts. He was very fast with it. Even when he was out of town, I got stuff within 24, 48 hours. Very impressive. But anyways, there's a few parts that I would recommend. Everything that it meets on the intermediate shaft, the pump for the spline, anything that has a spline, check and make sure. My transmission was 68,000 miles whenever I had rebuilt it in this point, and it was clapped out. There's parts that shouldn't have had to have been replaced that I did have to replace in it. So make sure you check everything out before you order this part, so you're not ordering stuff like I did over 2-3 weeks at a time. Just like in this next clip, which it'll kind of make sense, but there was a part that I thought I need and I ended up not needing it, but here we go.
All right, so yesterday I stopped working on this because I didn't want to damage anything, because I didn't have the right gasket I thought for this part. Turns out I do not need it. So what we are going to do is we have our gasket. We also have our part that I've taken and cleaned, the intermediate shaft support here. I thought we needed there to be a gasket or an O-ring around this here, and we don't need there to be one. It's completely fine for my part here. Anyways, there is a very small filter inside of this hole here. This blue plastic one, it comes with the replacement for the kit. I'm going to take a drill bit that is the size of the good side of the hole, just wallow that out a little bit, pop that old one out, let it fall out, replace it with the new one in the same direction it was, and then take a punch on the hole, and you can see where they punched it in to lock that in place. I'll just be doing the same process again, and then we'll go ahead and install this back onto here. These bolts are supposed to be at 100 inch-pounds, so we'll go ahead and specify that a little later in the video too. I don't know why I always ramble like that. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Get the pop in upwards now. Let me see if I can get this to... There we go. Awesome. Okay, so that crushes in and locks it in place. That's why it was tight to get out. All right, not bad. Got our selected piece of wood. You can see it fits between those bolts. Pretty nice, actually. And make sure it's seating down level all the way. Ta-da! There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Going boop, 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 and boink. All right, just wet our fingers up a little bit. A little bit on here just to help it slide down. Same sleep real tight. Come on now, baby, make me feel right. Slide on in, piston. Make it look alright. Alright, got our nice clean bolts and hardware here. We're going to go ahead and get this prepped. Here we go. Here we go. Luke, don't mess up. Just go nice and slow. Okay. All right, time for a little torquey torque. Ta-da! I'm happy to see it back in one piece, even though it is not nearly ready to go back in the vehicle yet. Oh boy. Ta-da!
Alright, these would be the next parts to go in, the reverse roller bearing, reverse drum, and the reverse band, along with the little retainer situations. You need your little 1 inch by 1 1/4 inch shim here as well. So you got this little square facing down in this way. We'll back this bad boy all the way out, pop that forward. And we are just going to slide this back. There. Alright. Let's take our little washer here, give it a wipe on the shirt, and give that a little drop right there. So at this point I realized I was missing a little bit of footage. Sorry about that, I do apologize, but anyways, moving forward, it was just me taking apart some of the old clutch packs and replacing some seals and stuff like that. But just like I had mentioned a little earlier, I did check all my splines and seals and stuff, and this part of it was good. The bevel spring in the part to the left of the workbench over there, I did have to order the plastic spacer ring, which I believe is what I was waiting for. Yeah, it was what I was waiting for in this video. You can also see on the far bench over there, inside of the band, there's a gear where the spline was damaged with a blue piece of tape on it. That I had to replace as well. But anyways, thought I'd mention some of that stuff before we moved on. Clutch plate, little metal, clutch, metal clutch. Then we got our big bad boy here on the end. Then we have our wavy snap ring. Ta-da! Alright, now here at the largest point, I want to make sure we got between 0.94 thousandths and 0.164 something thousandths. Alright, got everything set aside there. Those parts are as far as we can get tonight with them. We're going to go ahead and get the pump rebuilt, and then depending on how I feel, we may go ahead and start working on our valve body here. That way I can just get everything done and ready for the transmission, cover it up, and just wait for that plastic washer ring spacer thing. Anyways, let's go ahead and take this apart. So it was at this point that I kind of realized there's a few tools I was using that he hadn't really mentioned. There's a 2-inch socket that I had used for some of these, you'll see these seals later on that I'm driving in. There's some other stuff that I used too with, I think, an 1.25 inch socket. Anyways, it's nice to have a big, 3/4 drive socket set. SAE if possible, but metric, I'm sure you could find some sizes that work good too. Anyways, as far as the shop press, that's something that I really wish I had earlier too. But just some other little picks and other drives and some little stuff that I realized I wish I would have had that really weren't shown. But I mean, no big deal if you have a big shop and you're going to take on a project like this. You obviously have the tools, some of the tools to do it, and hopefully a little bit of knowledge, past knowledge, engineering or something. But here I'm taking and I'm knocking down the edges on one of the seals that I had put on the pump there onto the, torque converter, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. But anyway, so I knocked some of those down. Now you can see I can pull it off there easily. But there's little stuff like that I just didn't mention throughout the video. And I'll reference again, you want to go watch Jimmy's videos from Transmission Bench. He has the know-how and the power on how to do this, especially the parts too. So anyways, enough of that and back to the video. Alright, I'm back. I got the pump back together here. You can see I replaced the 2 little rings right here. This I still got mounted on. These are torqued down to 15 foot-pounds. And really, we're ready to test the pump out. I got the seal put in on this side. I do have the sealing ring to install back on here. It is right here. I'm just not ready to install that yet. We're kind of to the point where we need to install the drives here, the little clutch packs, and start testing them, make sure we don't have any leaks on the air pressure side, blowing air through, I believe it's this hole here. But before I can do that, I need to get the plastic washer that I don't have. So
no matter what I do, I'm kind of stuck where I'm at, to be honest, and it's my own doing, it's my own fault. So I'm not even mad, I'm not even upset about it. It's late, it's midnight, past midnight, so I'm gonna go inside, get a shower, and get ready for my day tomorrow. And while I'm at work, we'll go ahead and get that part ordered or see if I can't find it locally. And hopefully tomorrow we can get this thing put back together. If not, hopefully I'll get the part by, like I said earlier, Friday, Saturday. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up for the night. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. Transmission bench. Thank God. This should be our plastic spacer ring, finally. Only took a day to get here. That was super fast. I'm super impressed, I'll tell you that. His customer support he's on it, man. If you need parts, Jimmy from Transmission Bench is the man. Anyways, I also went down and got us a little radiator action. Haven't opened it up yet. We got to make sure it's the right one, but it also transmission cooler, all that good stuff. Got some ATF, got a filter. Advanced Auto, y'all will have missed it by now, but if you buy any amount of oil, one little thing or a little thing, whatever the situation is, they throw your dang filter in for free. Pretty good deal if you ask me. Anyways, let's go ahead, show you what progress I've made so far. So I got the old radiator out and cleaned this area up a little bit. I made sure to flush these lines out as well. I took mineral spirits and dumped it down this send line and flushed everything out with a little bit of compressed air. And this one you have to do the exact same process but from down there because this little check valve here is it's a one-way valve. So you have to go from there and psh, psh. Anyways, I got that done. So you can see this is our old radiator. It has definitely seen some better days. Little rot, corrosion, not good. They actually had this trans cooler jumped out of it, and it kind of makes me wonder if the previous owner thought that it didn't have enough cooling capacity originally. I don't know. The old owner spray painted this thing and got it on the windshield too. So I mean, there's a whole story to this truck. I can spill it one day. But anyways, I am super happy to be going back to the factory design. Let's get to it. Okay, got the wavy snap ring, got the bevel situation. All right, so put our old crappy burnt broken. Oh, I wish I would have caught that when I initially was taking this thing apart. That would have saved me a day or two, but live and you learn. Let's go ahead and get our box opened up. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now, take this bad boy with this edge facing down. We'll take a clutch plate. And you got our big guy here. We'll take this and put this side facing in. The nasty side facing out. And you can see, snap ring. So, now that is assembled, this is assembled, and we have our pump rebuilt. We're going to go ahead and test all this out to make sure it works together, and then we're going to put it in the transmission over there.
In this demonstration, you need to place the bushing with the one which is the kit. We placed it in the small parts box during disassembly.
So definitely make sure you use a rubber cone whenever you're testing, especially once you get all this together. You can see this is a few steps ahead. I've lost some of the footage again. Sorry about that. But anyways, in the forward clutch, direct drum, whatever this is called again, whenever you test all this stuff out when it's inside the transmission with the pump in, definitely use a seal so you know everything is seating properly inside. But anyways,
we are going to pressurize here, check the reverse band. You see that applies. Up here, we're going to test this to make sure this band applies. And you can see it does. And then we're going to test in this center for the direct clutch, I believe. Yep, and then this one for the Yep, and you can hear everything doing just what it's supposed to inside. I gotta go watch a little bit more YouTube and get some more education. That way we can take apart this and get it reassembled, and then I'll be back whenever I'm ready to throw this inside of here. All right, I'm back. It's the next day, and I was up until 4:30 last night getting that completely rebuilt, reassembled, cleaned. There's a lot to that, I'll tell you what. Watch the video thoroughly. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get it back in here. I already got everything slimed back up on the housing as well. To get this back in, one thing we do have to do first. Oh, no bird. Huh. It's a bird in here. Anyways, you gotta take this bad boy with this facing up, slide it back down in here. There. You can feel it fly past the hammer, it's called in the back. And we'll get my pick. What you'll want to do is take this little E-clip off, preferably before you get that in there. But, awesome. Our valve body. There we go. Flip this over. There we go. There we go.
So coming up, I really didn't detail a whole lot of the installation of the transmission once I got the pan on. It's just putting it on the lift and putting some bolts on the top of it. The flywheel is the most important thing. You want to make sure that you torque the doors down and not, tighten them up too much, strip anything out. But other than that, just kind of be careful and do what you did taking it out.
Oh, good girl, Miss Bella. Oh, you got your fox? Come on, let's go play with your fox. You gonna give me that fox? Oh, I know, I got your fox. Oh, go, oh, that was a horrible throw. I know, come here. Oh, good girl, give me that fox. Oh, give me that fox. I know. Oh, give me that. And like that, we got a transmission back together. Super easy. Took me no time. One weekend. Easy. No problems. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, that was definitely some good knowledge to add to the arsenal for any future projects. But I'm excited to get this thing back put in now. You can see I got all of our old hardware kind of going from the valve body, and then just assortment of stuff, all the old clutch packs, all the old just worn out, clapped out material. You can see the overdrive wasn't too bad. Overdrive was in pretty good shape, but you can see everything else just toasted up pretty good. So anyways, got our new boot installed. Everything's torqued down. You can see on this side, we got all our new stuff put in, and well, nothing left to do it but to screw it. It is much later, a little colder, and a little more snuggly. Anyways, I got the transmission put in, at least the top 4 bolts. Let me show you guys real quick. As you can see, we got a transmission under there again, boys. I got everything put back in other than the plugs. I haven't reconnected any of the lines for the fluid yet or anything. I just wanted to show my progress. I'm going to go ahead and do an oil change on this because there's just, you couldn't get the transmission out without checking the filter for the oil and doing all that sort of stuff. So I figured we'd go ahead and do a flush on it while we're here. And we're going to go ahead and put some more oil in it, fill the transmission up once I get the lines reconnected. And anyways, I'll be back hopefully when we're ready to fire this thing up for you guys. Might be tomorrow. I do have work tomorrow and it's 9:30. And I only got another hour or 2 left in me, to be honest with you. But anyways, I'll see you guys later tonight, tomorrow. Depends on how much steam I got in me. One other side note, the line coming out of the transmission, the previous owner had an extra one, ran this way in between. So I did have to splice the hose down here. I did use something safe for transmission fluid and high pressure, and I did get these torqued down evenly on either side. That way there's just no chance this can leak at all. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and, like I said, get some coolant, oil, all that good stuff, and a little bit better lighting for the camera, too. Anyways, I'll see you guys back. here we go. I'm gonna top off the fluids and wait for it to get up to temperature, and I'll bring you guys back once I burped it. It's kind of boring. I mean, put that on there, do some situations. I'll be back. Well, I got the jacks out from under it. I got the oil in it, and we're ready to rock. Let's see if we got a working transmission after, I'd say probably about maybe 30, 35 hours of work. And overall, to this point, with, I'm gonna say, extra parts I had to get from the hardware store, the splice kit, everything, I'm about, I'd say 1,400 into it right now. That's including fluids, filters, everything for the engine. Now, if it was just the transmission, I am into it currently for 985, 990, right in there, but 1,000 basically. So hopefully this was worth my time, money, effort, and either way, I gained some good knowledge and a little bit of mechanical knowledge as well on how things work. I also gained a little pity bull. Such a sweet girl. Anyways. I had the e-brake on, that scared me. Uh-oh, we're rolling backwards. Oh my God, oh my Lord. All right, now we're just gonna roll right back forward and drive. Watch out, Brindle Bull. Come here, baby. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Back in the neutral. And into park. Reverse. And neutral. I'm gonna put the e-brake on. And we're gonna check the fluid level real quick, just to double check one more time. But oh man, I'm so happy that worked out. I'm so thrilled right now. Oh man, it's Monday night, I'm tired. I haven't put a video out in like a month because this is just all I've been working on. This is my only really mode of transportation outside of borrowing the work van whenever my boss allows it. My boss is a really nice guy, don't worry about that. But anyways, I'm so happy to have my own wheels again. Now I can go and make some videos that I've really been wanting to make on this truck and around the area. But before I get too overconfident, I gotta take the trash out. I wanna do a little running around town just to make sure we're good. I'm also, like I said, I'm gonna check it again real quick, but man, I'm so excited. All right.
I had to make this thing shine. I couldn't just take it out like this, you know. Come on.
All right, well, let's go take this thing for a test drive and see how it runs. Of course, I did take the garbage out last night with it too, but I want to get on the road here at shift, get up to 50, 60 miles an hour, see how it does. So we're going to go left here, see if we can get up the gear.
So I just want to take a little bit of time here while I'm driving to talk about I'm so happy with how this turned out. It was one of those things where you really don't think you can do it, and then you get into it and you're going to spend the money and you're going to try it because, you know, $1,000 compared to the $5,000 the transmission shop wants. Yeah, why not, you know? And it's one of those things where it ended up working out for me, and I had the right resources and the right, knowledge out there for me to be able to grasp onto and make this happen. But anyways, if you guys like this, I mean, please definitely leave a comment down below, give me a like, subscribe, because this is the type of stuff that I like doing. This is what I'm gonna try to keep on doing, hopefully on future vehicles, and not just this one that keeps on breaking over and over again. But anyways, let's see what this thing can do.
Put Overdrive on the way back and see if we can really get going. Overdrive is on, and let's see how we do here. Not bad. That's about 50. And we shift is 60. Hey, there we go. Build a little more speed. Not bad. About 70. I'll let off here because we got some traffic coming up. Not bad. Not bad. All right, well, if you guys enjoyed this video, I definitely know I enjoyed creating it. I'll definitely say that. This has just been one heck of an experience, one heck of a learning curve, and I'll say I'm so happy I had this education added to my little memoir of BS in my head. I don't know how to say it, whatever. Anyways, like, subscribe, leave your comments on things I could have done better, ideas for the future. I don't know, I'm new to this. Give me some ideas. Anyhow, or just say hi. Anyways, y'all have a good rest of the day, and I'll be back soon.